Hello and welcome all you future research gurus to the Research Rumble. I know, midterms are right around the corner, breathing down your neck, but don't you worry because today we're going to turn that study session into a showdown. This is your personal high-energy coaching session to help you absolutely nail that exam. So, you ready? Let's get into it. All right, tonight's main event is Chapter 1, and that's Empirical and Non-Empirical Research and Overview, coming straight from the Introduction to Communication Sciences and Disorders textbook. By the time we're finished here, you are going to have these fundamentals down cold. So put on your thinking caps, because Round 1 starts right now. Welcome to Round 1, Research Fundamentals. We're kicking things off with the big core ideas. You know, every single complex study you will ever read is built on these simple, really powerful concepts. If you get these right, I promise, everything else is going to click right into place. Okay, first question up. Let's warm up those brains. When we talk about that classic, step-by-step scientific method, what is the very first thing you've got to do? I mean, before you can even dream of finding an answer, you have to do what? And the answer is you have to identify a problem and then really dig into the background research. It makes total sense when you think about it, right? You can't solve a puzzle until you know what the puzzle actually is. And you got to see what pieces other people have already tried to fit in. It's all about asking the right question before you even start looking for the answer. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next question. This one is huge in pretty much any clinical field. So picture this. You've got the latest scientific studies, you've got your own hard-earned professional experience, and you've got the actual person you're trying to help, with their own unique needs and values. What do you call the approach that blends all three of those things together to make the best possible decision? Is it A, B, C, or D? And the correct answer is C, evidence-based practice, or EBP for short. Now, the best way to think about this is like a three-legged stool. You've got the best available scientific research, you've got your own professional experience, and you have the client's own needs and considerations. If any one of those legs is missing, the whole thing falls over. EBP is the art of balancing all three. Amazing work in Round 1. Now let's build on that. Welcome to Round 2, Name That Research. This is where we put on our detective hats and learn how to tell one type of study from another. Okay, time for a visual puzzle. Take a good look at this flowchart here. See how it maps out the different ways research can go? Now, follow the lines starting from experimental. You'll see it splits into two paths, true experimental and quasi-experimental. What is the one single critical difference that sends a study down one path and not the other? The answer is random assignment. That is the absolute secret sauce. In a true experiment, you can randomly put participants into different groups. Why is that such a big deal? Well, it helps make sure your groups are basically equal from the very start. And that means you can be way more confident that any differences you see at the end were actually caused by your experiment and not just some random fluke. Okay, next up, a classic true or false. Ready? Empirical research is based on a deep dive review of existing information, not on collecting new data. Is that statement true or is it false? That is 100% false, and this is such a critical distinction to get. Empirical research is hands-on. It's all about getting out there, making observations, taking measurements, and collecting brand new data. The other side of that coin is non-empirical research. That's what you do when you write a term paper, for instance. You're working with information and data that somebody else has already collected. You are crushing it. Let's keep that momentum rolling right into Round 3, variables and vitals. This is where we get into the real nitty-gritty, the language of research. If you master these terms, it's like learning the key plays before the big game. You'll know exactly what's going on. All right, time for a quick matching game. Super simple. On one side, you have the terms independent variable and dependent variable. On the other side, you have their roles. Just match the term to its correct definition. Which one's which? And here we go. The independent variable is the thing that you, the researcher, change or manipulate. It's the input. The dependent variable is what you measure to see if that input had any effect. It's the output. So think of it this way. You change your study habits. That's the independent variable. To see if it affects your test score. That's the dependent variable. Input, output. Easy as that. Okay, let's get practical for a second. Imagine you've got a huge stack of research articles to read, and you just don't have all day. You need to find the main point, the core research question of each article, and you need to find it fast. What's your strategy? What's the game plan? Here is the ultimate pro tip. First, scan the abstract to get the quick and dirty summary. Then, jump straight to the last paragraph or two of the introduction. Why there? Well, because authors spend that whole introduction building their case, telling you what we know and what we don't. The research question is like the grand finale of that whole argument, stated right before they tell you how they're going to answer it. It's a massive time saver, trust me. You've fought your way through, and now you've made it to the final round. This is the lightning round, people. I want fast answers. No overthinking, just go with your gut. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, 3 questions back to back to back. Number 1, what do you call the type of research that weighs a program's upfront cost against its long-term benefit to society? Number 2, surveys, case studies, correlational studies. What's the big umbrella term for all of those? And number 3, true or false, single-subject research is basically just a fancy way of saying a descriptive case study. Go, go, go. And time's up. Here are the answers. Number 1 was cost-benefit research. Number 2, all of those are examples of non-experimental research, where you're just observing what's already there. And number 3 is false. This is a tricky one, but so important. Single-subject research is absolutely experimental because the participant serves as their own control, experiencing both the test and control conditions. It is not just a description. And that is the final buzzer. You have made it through the Research Rumble, and you did an awesome job. Let's take a breath and quickly recap everything you've just totally mastered. Seriously, you aced it. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've gone head-to-head with the core concepts of research, and you came out on top. That exam has no idea what's coming. So let's lock in these key takeaways for your exam. First, remember that research isn't just random guessing, it's systematic inquiry, an orderly process for answering questions. Second, that magic ingredient, random assignment, is what makes an experiment a true experiment. And third, always remember your variables. Independent is the input you control, dependent is the output you measure. If you get those 3 things, you've got the heart of this chapter down. And I'll leave you with one final thought for the win. Now that you know the basic building blocks, what's one question from your own life or your future career or just something you're curious about that you'd want to investigate using these tools? Just think about it, because that's where the real fun begins. Good luck on your exam. You've totally got this.